In this tutorial, we're going to be covering our Content Aware Move tool. So let's go ahead and get started. Now I'm going to be using this image from our Seasons in a Jar, and I did not use this method in the actual Seasons in a Jar video, but it is a tool that is available and it works really well if you know how to use it. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the features that come with our Content Aware Move tool option. It basically allows you to select an area and move that, duplicating that area without needing to do any copy and paste, no duplicate layers, no clone stamping. It's just a really awesome tool. So let's go ahead and I will show you how you can do this. Now in your toolbar you will find your Content Aware Move tool with your spot healing brush, and your patch tool. This is also J on your keyboard, so go ahead and select your Content Aware Move tool, and it looks like two little arrows that are intersecting, and in your options menu you will find your regular new selection, add selection, subtract selection, and your intersecting selection. I'm going to leave this on new selection, and then you will see your mode in your options panel. You have your move and your extend. We're going to start with our extend. We also have our structure, color, sample all layers, and transform on drop selected. Now if your sample all layer is not active, that's because you only have your one layer. If you have multiple layers that you want to choose from and then move your content and extend that, you can go ahead and select that layer. But since it's off, we're not even going to worry about it. And let's talk about structure and color very quickly. Your color is basically what Photoshop will fill in or adapt the colors just a little bit. Now you can do this between 0 and 10. If it's set to 0, it does not have any color changes or adaptation. If it's on 10, that's the maximum amount that it will apply to your image. Now your structure deals with your patterns. So you have between 1 and 7 for your structure. You can bump this all the way up to 7. Now the higher the number, the stronger the pattern will match. So just keep that in mind. And this really depends on what your image is and what you're trying to achieve, how you should set these numbers. So I'm not going to tell you how to set these numbers, but you play with this and figure out what works best for your image. Okay, now let's go ahead and get started. And we have our Content Aware tool selected. We have our extend on and our structure set at 4 and the color set at 0. Now I'm going to bump this up so I can show you the difference in just a minute. And I'm going to show you the difference on how to use this. With the Content Aware selected, the tool selected, you can create a lasso around the area. Now if you're not selecting on the edge, this sort of can work like a patch tool. So I'm going to select and drag this up and get it about even with the line and select OK. And you will see that it sort of blends in but doesn't really do a great job, and it keeps this line. So let's go back and step back and undo this, and I'm going to bump this up to 5 in my color selection and click and drag again, get it about where I want it, and then hit OK again. And as you can see, it matches the colors so much better. So this is an option for using this. Now let me show you what happens if I select near the edge. So I'm going to grab my rectangle marquee tool. I'm going to get about even on the edge. I'm going to go down and make sure this line is selected. Go back to our Content Aware Fill tool and then click and drag up and choose OK. As you can see, it doesn't really give the line exactly where it needs to go. So let's go back and step back again. And let's select a smaller area with our rectangle marquee tool. So I'm going to select a little smaller area, and I'm selecting right beneath that line. You may not be able to tell, but it's right on the edge. Grab my Content Aware Move tool, and we're just going to drag that up. Select OK. And as you can see, it blended the area in, but it also pulled this pattern, and that's because we have our structure set at 4. So let's step back and undo, and let's bring this structure down to 1, and then click and drag up, select OK. And as you can see, the pattern changes. It still pulls that in a little bit, but then it doesn't pull the pattern in here as much. So I recommend bringing this at a 4, keeping your color between 0 and 5, and just really change this and work on those options. So let's go all the way back. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and show you how to use the Content Aware Move tool. So again, choose your Content Aware tool. In your options, choose Move. I'm going to leave the structure and the color the same. And the additional option is Transform on Drop. With this selected, it's going to transform the previous area and blend that in with the background. So let's go ahead and select our jar here. And as you can see, I'm selecting very quickly and outside of the area of the jar. The reason you want to do this is because you need enough pixels around that object to blend in. So keep that in mind. With that selected, I'm just going to click and move anywhere onto the screen. So let's put it all the way over here, and I'm going to release, select OK, and watch what happens. It automatically moves that jar and places it into the new spot. So there are some issues with this option. As you can see, it doesn't blend in the wood perfectly. If you don't get that lined up perfectly, it will cause a problem. And over here you can see that it didn't fill in the lines of the wood grain as well as it should have. So keep that in mind. You can change your structure and your color to help this, and you can make sure you line this up really well as an option to transforming or moving things around on your screen. Now you may be asking, why is this tool better or different from the Content Aware Fill tool that is available in Photoshop? And basically this is giving you a little bit more control. You are setting your selections, your structure, your color. You can move or extend and add or subtract selection areas, and that can come in really handy when you really need to control that yourself. However, the Content Aware Fill option is a really great tool. So I'm going to grab my rectangle marquee tool, very quickly select this area, go up to Edit, Fill, and it's going to open a window, and it's going to say Content Aware Fill. You can also choose color adaptation. My blending mode is set at normal and 100% opacity, and I'm just going to go ahead and choose OK. And it fills in that area with what it thinks needs to go there. So just keep that in mind and play with all of these options and the different options, and you can also use your clone stamp tool and your other healing brushes to really control your image and get the exact look you need.